MPC. So I was like,
Mhm.
no, I said I want to make it like a choir. So I added some effects to the choir, and it was ah. And when I came, when Snoop and them came to the studio, the shit was laid out. I had the bass line going, the whole shit was going, and he started immediately singing. As I look up at the sky, da da da, teardrops my eye, and I'm like, okay, cool. But again, I'm like, nobody was telling me what to play. I should have got production credit for that, but I was
Uh,
too green to understand what was happening at the time.
The remix may have got the most play, Barney, but I love that album version. I still say that album version should have been the
Yeah, I'm on the
first
remix
release.
too.
Yeah, but
Boom, 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 boom,
I
boom.
love I love the original. The original to me, I think, just should have been the release one. Uh,
Yeah,
just like with Rage's Afro Puffs on Above the Rim soundtrack.
and I'll tell you a
I think.
crazy story about that. Rage
Go ahead. Go
hated
ahead.
that fucking track.
Say what?
She hated that fucking track.
Why?
I hope she don't get mad for me saying it, but she hated it because Rage is a more of an East Coast girl
Right.
at that time.
Farmville,
She
Virginia.
was.
She's from my state, Farmville, VA.
Yeah, yeah. She had I guess the sound in her head that she heard for herself was way different. It was way different. And uh by the time we finished it, she just was not feeling it. And I remember Dre being a little pissed off because we were all like, you must be everybody, Dash, Corrupt, everybody was like, you got to be out of your fucking mind, right? This shit is incredible. But she ended up writing Afro Puffs and recorded it. But I don't think she ever really got into the track. It just wasn't some shit that she really liked.
That Above the Rim soundtrack, when it dropped in winter of 1994, it went platinum in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks,
And
yep.
and I mean, to hear songs like Afro Puffs, to hear the SWV remix of
Yeah.
anything, to hear Big Pimpin' with the Dog Pound,
Yep.
I mean, to hear Gonna Give It To You with Aaron Hall and Jewel, rest in peace. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole dude, I love that soundtrack so much. I have 2 copies of the original cassette.
Yeah. And see, my band was Rhythm and Knowledge at that time. So we're on
Okay.
that soundtrack. Would you bring the dog out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um Now the movie itself, and if you have the knowledge of it, we would love to hear the story, because obviously there's a lot of layers to it, because this was primarily an East Coast based this was an East Coast based movie in New York,
Right.
but obviously Death Row ended up getting the contract to do the soundtrack. How did that happen?
You know what? I have no idea about that. I was so apart out of the business phase of it. I really have no idea how that happened. I
Okay,
have
so
no idea.
tell us about when you got that call that y'all were going to work on it. What was that like?
Oh, I had already heard a quick song. I had heard Aaron's song. I'd heard like probably 5 or 6 of the songs, and then I heard Dad say they was gonna put Big Pimpin' on there. So I'm like, okay, so I have one on there. They finally chose our song, and I was like, well, shit, this soundtrack is like a doggy style. I'm like, this fucking soundtrack is gonna be out of control.
Yeah.
Like you say, 2 weeks, bang, there it is.
And I mean, this is where Tupac unofficially gets his start on Death Row in terms of working on those tracks,
Exactly.
with Pain and Loyal to the Game.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
and at that time with Pop, we knew about him. He was 3 years in earnest into his solo career, from with Tupacalypse Now in 1991, Strictly for My Niggas, released in 1992.
Right.
So it's like he's I mean, he just blows up out. I mean, and then of course he's still doing his acting, because he does Juice in 1992, and then he follows that up with Poetic Justice in 1993.
Right. Right.
So by then, this guy is a superstar.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a very like maybe three or four super brief encounters with Pac. I wasn't there to when he was actually doing his part of California Love.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's me on both the original and the replay of Intimate Connection on the. I think they ended up calling it the remix.
Right.
But yeah, he was. The one time I met him, he was super energetic. He was super cool, and then the next time I met him, it was like a totally different person, which they said could happen. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't know if it was the people in the room. I don't know if he was lit up a little bit, but I was like, I can see why people say, it depends on where you are and what's happening to who you meet. Because when I met him, I was at Can Am and I was by myself, and I forgot what I was working on.